Maraming salamat ang ating Vice Presidente for Luzon, the Honorable Edmund Papisamis, ang ating mga National Executive Committee officers, lahat ng Regional Liga Presidents, Provincial Liga Chapter Presidents, ang aking mga kaibigan, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Ay papatiin ko kayo lahat ng isang magandang hapon sa inyong lahat na namumuno at mga kasapi sa Liga ng mga Barangay sa Pilipinas. Nais ko muling magpasalamat sa inyong lahat sa muling pag-anyaya ninyo sa akin upang makabahagi sa inyong Interim General Assembly bilang inyong panahong pandangan at tagapagsalita sa araw na ito. Ako naman ay nagagalak na mabigyan ninyo ako muli ng isang pagkakataon. Makapulong ko kayong lahat sa aking pagka-chairman ng Committee on Local Government sa Senado ng Pilipinas mula noong 2010. If you will recall, when I spoke before you in many of the different fora in the last 3 years, I kept on revisiting with you the Local Government Code of 1991 and the consequent complications of local autonomy as experienced by our country for the last 22 years. Presented to you, lagi natin pinapaalala sa inyo for the historical, geographical, and socio-political reasons for the crafting of this landmark legislation aimed at a decentralized system of governance in recognition of the diverse conditions obtaining in an archipelagic country like ours, and of course taking into account the 1987 Philippine Constitution, which had explicitly guaranteed the sustained attention and direct focus on the needs of our local government units. In those past gatherings, we took note of the fact that the implementation of local autonomy has not been as successful or as smooth as we had liked for it to have been. And this is due to the existence of local and national problems that downplayed the intensive and extensive devolution process. Among these, uulitin ko na lang, siguro matagas na natin ang pag-usapan ito, but if I may repeat, the socio-political concerns like incidents of crime, corruption, uncertainties of a clear future direction, not to mention economic growth. In addition, we took note of the issue of readiness and or the capabilities of the local government units, in your case, the barangays, to exercise new responsibilities in response to the greater autonomy granted them under the local government code, which include the provisions of basic services to their constituents, and the management of natural resources, and most important of all, the important task of planning for local boundaries which imply good financial support, skilled human resources, and the concomitant infrastructure to back it up. But let me again repeat what has a lesson that I continue to learn. Parang habang tumatagal ako bilang chairman ng Committee on Local Government, parang laging mabalik sa akin. Itong mga natutunan ko mula noong 2010. I have consistently and continuously emphasized to you, and that is the fact that even though the barangay is the smallest political unit in our government structure, it is now acknowledged as the most essential one, as it is the most basic unit in our democratic government structure. It can be referred to, and I always refer to, as the basic foundation of nation building. Mga kasama ko sa Liga ng mga Barangay, I am now at my 4th year as chair of the Committee on Local Government in the Senate. I should be honest and forthright to admit that since my last plenary session with you, I can very clearly see that you have shown, all of you, all barangays around the country, marked improvement in your ability in varying degrees to successfully advance reforms necessary to substantially improve and put in place the practice of good governance in your respective barangays. In the many speaking engagements that I have come before you, I refer to the many significant reforms and improvements, including those under the stewardship of the late DILG Secretary Jesse Brennan. So in a way, this is a kind of congratulations to all of you for sustaining those efforts and eventually upgrading the mechanisms that have proven that indeed the barangay, as the smallest political unit in our government, could also become one of the more effective instruments for responsive local governments. Isa-isahin natin ito, mga ating masasabing mga achievement ng ating mga barangay at ating mga opisyal ng barangay. First, as reported, a good number of barangays have duly internalized the practice of transparency, accountability, and full disclosure, which indeed helps in ensuring that government resources continue to be used responsibly and effectively. Secondly, in measuring the performance and capacity of the LGUs in the area of development work, the Barangay Governance Performance Management System put in place the barangay governance reports that provided the cities and municipalities that exercise supervision over them a more factual basis for analyzing the prevailing situations in their respective barangay. Malaking bagay ito dahil napalapit ang inyong coordination hindi lamang sa isa't isa, kung hindi sa inyong mga municipalities, sa inyong mga syudad, kung saan kayo natatagpo. Third, the specific barangay programs like the training of newly elected officials and other skills development programs which focus on the aspect of capability building among LGUs. Napapadalas na, dumadami na ang ating mga training program dahil matagal na namin kinikilala na kung minsan dahil meron mga bagay-bagay sa trabaho ng isang barangay captain, ng isang barangay official na hindi naman natin natututunan sa pang-araw-araw natin na buhay. At bigla na lang kayo bigyan na maging opisyal, bigla kayo naging barangay captain, at marami kayong nagiging trabaho na wala namang kayong karanasan. Kaya nailagay natin ang mga training program na yan, kaya pag yung mga bagong pasok, ay malaman naman nila kung ano ang sistema ng pamahalaan, kung ano ang inaasahan sa kanila, at kung paano nila makukuha yung mga dapat nilang serbisyo na ibibigay sa kanilang mga constituents. Fourth, with the onset of more natural disasters linked to climate change and as demonstrated in the calamities that have hit our country over the past year, the barangays have shown a noticeable improvement in their ability and readiness to address their efforts towards disaster preparedness and response. Thus, once again, indicating the success of local autonomy in the context of improved local governance. Parami ng parami ang nagiging calamity dito sa ating bansa. Kagaya ng namin nabanggit, ito na siguro, yung sinasabing climate change, maliwanag na tayo ay nararamdaman natin ng climate change na yan. Nararamdaman natin dahil sa bagyo, dahil sa nagbabago, hindi na natin malaman kung kailan tag-araw, kung kailan tag-ulan. Hindi na natin yung ating mga farmers, hindi na malaman kung kailan magtatanim, kailan naaamin dahil nga pabago-bago ang ating weather. At nakaraan lamang, nakita na naman natin, lalo na sa mga urban centers, na bumagyo, kahit na hindi malakas na bagyo, basta't bumagsak ang ulan. At siguro ilang oras lang isang buong araw bumagsak ang ulan, makikita na natin malaking problema na agad. Kaya napakalaking bahagi sa ating disaster preparedness and response ang mga barangay officials. Dahil kayo na naman, as usual, sa lahat ng bagay tungkol sa gobyerno, kayo ang nasa frontline. Kayo ang nagsasabi muna na may problema din sa inyong lugar. Kayo ang unang mag-rescue, kayo ang unang pupunta, kayo ang unang magdadala ng relief goods, kayo magdadala sa evacuation center, kayo ang lahat ng magdadala ng tubig, ng pagkain, etc. Kaya nakikita natin, palaki ng palaki ang nagiging role ng barangay officials dito sa ating mga nagiging problema sa climate change. If you will recall, in the matter of electoral automation, RA 8 ko dahil kayo haharap rin sa mukhang wala na tayo hindi naman sa lahat ng ginawa na sinubukan natin, ay ang palasyo ay desidido na ituloy ang eleksyon itong darating na October 28. Hindi ko alam kung napag-usapan ni Chairman Brillantes ito, but in the matter of electoral automation, RA 8436, as amended, mandates that the automated election system be applied to the national and local elections, including election on the barangay and sangguniang kabataan levels. As of now, as announced by the COMELEC, this will not be possible. The October 2013 barangay elections will go manual. As we all know, automation will result to bring about a cleaner and more credible election. But, as a practical matter, ay sabi ng COMELEC, hindi pa nila kaya gawin ito. If you will recall, in the last Congress, this representation had recommended for the postponement of barangay elections in 2010 and this October 2013, which included the term extension of the incumbent elected barangay officials. Unfortunately, the President has decided against this idea. Postponement of the Sangguniang Kabataan election because of the imperative need for Congress to review and assess the present structure and role of the Sangguniang Kabataan created under the Local Government Code. The Committee on Local Government in the Senate has filed a bill. Well, I have filed a bill proposing the postponement of the SK elections in 2013. And may report ko sa inyo na sa mga diskusyon namin, mukhang ma-postpone natin ang SK election. Meron akong hearing sa Martes, sa September, this coming Tuesday, meron akong hearing para na tungkol na dito. At nakakausap ko na ang DND Secretary, nakakausap ko na ang mga advisor ng ating Pangulo. At mukhang papayag naman sila na at least yung SK election ay i-postpone dahil kailangan natin i-restructure ang SK. At present, there is a strong clamor from the different sectors of the society proposing either to abolish the Sangguniang Kabataan or to restructure the same. Either way, there is a great necessity to have an in-depth evaluation of the performance of the SK and to institute vital reforms therein. So ang plano natin gawin ay postpone muna ang SK election at pag-usapan at maguhit ang sistema ng SK. Maraming mga proposal dyan. Nagsisimula sa one end, complete abolition of the SK. That is one of the proposals. Ako ay tutol dyan. Dahil sa aking pananaw, maliwanag sa akin na kailangan na ang ating mga kabataan ay may boses sa ating pamahalaan. Hindi natin sila pwedeng pabayaan na hindi nakakalahok sa pamahalaan, sa gobyerno. Dahil ang Pilipinas we are a very young country. Malaki sa populasyon natin ay mga kabataan. Kaya importante na meron tayong mga representative sa pamahalaan na nagsasabi sa atin, una, kung ano ang mga issue ng mga kabataan. Dahil ang kabataan ay naman sariling issue yan. Hindi naman pareho sa issue ng mga professional, ng mga ibang politiko. Meron sila talagang sarili, very specific sa mga kabataan. At kailangan magkaroon sila ng boses nang sila'y mapakinggan. At itong mga issue na aking nabanggit ay mabigyan ng pansin. So I have taken an initiative in the way of Senate Bill number 1186, an act to postpone the SK elections of October 28, 2013, which I filed at the very onset of this new Congress. We also have to work still on issues on the era. The unfortunate and disappointing development of 2012 was the share of the barangay in the era was slashed, consequently brought about a diminution in the capability of barangays, especially the less affluent ones, to provide their mandated services to the respective constituencies. It is important to all of you now in the Liga ng mga barangay to make the strongest representations for the automatic release of era share, as the law mandates that the era share due to all LGUs, including barangays, in the country be directly released to them without the need for any further action. It is an automatic appropriation na kailangan laging kasama sa ating General Appropriations Act. Kailangan at sa pag-release ng pondo ng IRA ay kailangan ang pag-release ay diretso sa LGU. Kung ito man ay isang syudad, isang municipality, isang bayan, or ito ay barangay. Finally, there is the continuing need to introduce additional amendments to the Local Government Code of 1991 due to the changing demographics and economic baselines of our country. In fact, this need has long been recognized, and it is for this reason that the Senate Committee on Local Government has in the past 3 years continued to introduce new legislation to this effect, and consequently refiled at the start of this 16th Congress Senate Bill number 12, amending the Local Government Code of 1991 with regards to the following. Ipinaglalaban pa rin natin ang benefits and incentives for barangay officials. Yung additional monthly honoraria to barangay officials. Yung Barangay Captain's Insurance, Barangay Tanod Welfare Act. Ito ay pagkikilala sa napaka-importanteng trabaho ang ginagawa ng hindi lamang ng mga elected officials na pati rin ng mga volunteers natin. Dahil alam naman natin na kung wala tayong mga volunteers sa barangay system, ay napakahirap naman at kukunti lamang ang mga elected officials at kailangan yung volunteers para matupad ang ating mga gustong gawin para sa ating mga constituents. Ngunit ay hanggang sa ngayon ay wala naman yung volunteers, pinibigyan na lang natin ay ad hoc, kung yung mayor ay naisip niya, gusto niyang tulungan yun, bibigay ng konting tulong, pero it's not institutionalized. I intend to institutionalize it, and in that way, ay mabigyan natin ng tulong ang ating mga barangay, hindi lamang ang ating mga barangay officials, kundi pati ang ating mga barangay volunteers. As the chairman of the Committee on Local Government in the Senate, let me reiterate my unwavering assurance to you all that we will expedite the passage of the proposed amendatory measures that are geared towards the enhancement of local governance in the barangay level. So, ito yung mga ating ginagawa sa ngayon. Ito yung ating mga ginagawa at itinutulak sa Senado para magkaroon ng mas magandang sitwasyon. Marami tayong hinihingi. Siguro nabanggit ko na rin sa inyo nung na napupuna ko nung bagong pasok ko sa Senado. Mahilig ang Senado at saka yung Kongreso magbigay ng mga bagong function sa ating mga LGU. Hindi lamang sa bayan at saka sa syudad, kundi pati sa mga barangay. Tapos wala namang support, walang funding support, walang technical support. Kaya lagi ko ipinipilit na dapat natin tulungan. Dahil kung magbibigay tayo, bibigyan kayo namin ng bagong trabaho, ay dapat may technical support, may konting training, and siyempre yung funding support. Yun ang nagiging problema pa rin hanggang ngayon ng Local Government Code. Kaya kung maalala ninyo, may proposal si Sec. Jess Redo noon na maglagay ng economic fund para sa mga 4th, 5th, 6th class na LGU. At para ito ay mabigyan din para doon sa mga naghihirap sa devolution ng agriculture at saka ng health, lalo na yung health, dahil yung health masyadong malaki ang kailangan gastusin para pagandahin ang ating healthcare system. At ito ay tuluyan namin ginagawa at hindi lamang sa barangay level, kundi sa lahat ng level ng local government. Let me conclude by enjoining all of you to further expand the gains that have been made in barangay governance and for all of you to continue to be vigilant in ensuring the greater success of local autonomy with increasing passion and commitment on your part as your vital share in nation building. As I had stated earlier, you, the barangays, may be the smallest unit of local governance, but you should be the most effective and efficient as it is on your level that the process of nation building begins. I think that recognition is only now being made by the national government. Kung minsan taken for granted ng ating mga barangay officials at hindi kinikilala ang napakahalaga ninyong serbisyo sa ating bansa. And that is now beginning to change. I have done everything that I can to explain to people that with lahat ng aming pinag-uusapan, lahat ng debate na nakikita ninyo sa Senado, sa Kongreso, lahat ng usapan tungkol sa serbisyo, tungkol sa ating pamahalaan, lahat ito ay walang mangyayari kung wala ang ating LGU, kung wala ang ating mga barangay. Dahan-dahan naman, pinakikinggan na tayo, at dahan-dahan naman ay kinikilala na gaano kahalaga ang inyong ginagawa.